Welcome back, everybody, to the Oakland Athletics franchise. We are moving at a fast pace through our title defense season, and it has been a bit of an up and down campaign. We do lead our division right now by 4 games, but we have the worst record out of any division leader currently in the entire major leagues. I had to send Trey Sweeney down last episode because his struggles have gotten completely out of control. And today I'm hoping to see our offense step it up because being one of the worst right now is not what I had in mind. We're a bottom 4 scoring team, which is really hard to believe given how much talent is on this squad. But we have a few standout players, and that's about it. The young stars are at least playing well, but a lot of our veterans are failing to keep up. Luis Arraez has taken a step back. It seems Franmil Reyes is doing the same, and Aaron Don is just a really confusing player. And now we're seeing that contact drop, which really hurts his chances of being the player I thought he could become. But reinforcements have arrived as Julian Rodriguez will take over at shortstop after being one of our top infield prospects for a number of years. I thought I might end up trading him because there wasn't a spot for him. However, with Trey Sweeney's struggles, that's changed. The Orioles are one of the best teams right now in the American League. And we're going to jump into this game today as Julian Rodriguez makes his Major League debut. He was off to a decent start at AAA, but he's not an elite hitter right now. I think he has a chance to be a complete player down the line, but right now he's probably leaning more on his glove. But who knows? This game is always full of surprises. Players don't just have predictable stats based on their ratings. So Julian Rodriguez, welcome to the show. And it's going to be a ground ball that Rodriguez catches at second base and helps turn 2. Well, let's see his first big league at bat for an underperforming offense. 2 on, 2 down for his first big league chance. Missing high, and Jensen falls behind. It's 3-1. That's in, the count full. Runners will leave early. A base hit could get us on the board, and Rodriguez flies it out to right field, and the inning comes to an end. On the ground, Rodriguez, has some trouble and cannot make the play. Bottom 3 now, runner on for the Orioles. Another ground ball that could be 2. Rodriguez, jump throw to first. Ground ball. There it is. Rodriguez, first put out on his own. Top 5 now for Julian Rodriguez. Runner goes, and Rodriguez lifts it foul. That is muscled to left center, and Julian Rodriguez, welcome to the Bigs, with his first big league home run. We had a good battle in this at-bat, and eventually he left one over the plate. And Rodriguez is here to give this team a boost. I'd say that qualifies. Gregorio Uribe in the game and gets the ground out to Rodriguez. The only one to drive in a run for us today, and now the game is left up to the rookie in his debut. We've got to look at making some more changes with this team. We're playing more 500 baseball, and I could easily see us falling under with the way the offense has been performing. You know, we have a team that was comprised of a lot of top prospect level draft picks, and then some key veteran signings that really worked out well for us. And it feels now like the stars are, doing their job, and it's the veterans who are starting to fall off. And you've got to look at transitioning that roster a bit more. We lose the game 5-2. Need to look at some more changes. Dylan Carlson's spot is safe. He is performing actually really well and better than he usually does in the regular season. Luis Ariz with his regression. I don't want to call it struggles, but he's regressed significantly. He turned into a more well-rounded hitter in this series with a lot of pop, and that has completely gone away. It's his lowest ISO in 8 seasons. Yusniel Cruz hitting .229. Obviously, his spot is safe, but he could be doing better with a .294 on base. You got Manny Reyes, who is off to a really strong start, but can only do so much on his own. Tyler Soderstrom hitting .243. His numbers aren't as good as they've been in the past. Miguel Cabrera. I started getting him more playing time last episode, and he's just such a high on base guy that we need to get him out there every day. And that's costing Franmil Reyes playing time. Miguel Vargas now hitting .269, also pretty good on-base player over the years for us. Aaron Don struggling, great in the field, and I'm not sure there's anyone really that's able to push for his job in the outfield. Unless you move Cruz to center, Cabrera to left, and add a bat to the offense. And if we were to add a bat, I think that Zach Geloff is the best candidate. And right now, I think he's worth getting on the field every day. I'm moving Cabrera to the top of this batting order with his 400 plus on base. We've not been a good on base team. We've not been a good scoring team. So let's begin there. He and Carlson are reaching base. Cruz, Reyes, those two are driving in runs and hitting homers. Then we need someone to step up and be that reliable fifth option. And usually it's Soderstrom. Right now, not as much. But this is the lineup I want to try rolling out. And Geloff's already been playing against lefties, where he's always been good. Now he's just going to play every day. I think this lineup against lefties has a lot of potential. And if Aaron Don isn't doing well against lefties, I might even reduce some of his playing time. .233 is passable. It's better than what he's doing against righties at .207, oddly enough. Looks like Vargas is back to his lefty mashing ways, and that's where Yusniel Cruz has gotten a lot better this season. He's seeing some improvement to those ratings, so that's quite promising. And there isn't anything we have to change with the pitching. Again, all 5 starters have solid ERAs or better than solid, and the bullpen's doing their job. It's up to the offense. So let's continue June and push towards the All-Star break, as Josh Smith is shaken up in this game, and he's going to miss some time, so we've got to make a move there. After all these years, I'm going to give him a chance to go to the bench. As the backup outfielder, Luis Estrella to the major leagues. He was part of our very first draft class. I've been the only person who's wanted him on this team for months in this series. What a day here for Miguel Cabrera, going 4 for 4 with a home run, helping this offense go over the White Sox 10-9. That's a nice win. You know, from time to time, the pitching's going to have their bad days, but we came back from a 5-0 first inning deficit to win this game, thanks to the play of guys like Miguel Cabrera. Rough day here for Cole Phillips and his Cy Young campaign. So we win the series against the White Sox. This game goes 11-1 in our favor. And we only hit 1 homer. So it was just a full game of excellent hitting. Logan Gilbert back on track in the victory over the Mariners. And then we come back late to beat them the next day. Really good final week of June. Let's get the last game out of the way here. And we win again against the Mariners, 3-2. We're still 4 games back, but now the Angels are on the rise with a good last 10 streak of 7-3. So So the draft is coming up. I've let the scouting just kind of go automatic this year, and I will do the draft. And then we've got the break. Luis Estrella, he started this game and went 0 for 3, but we won, and Manny Reyes hit a 3-run bomb. I'm really impressed that we're already scoring a lot more runs. Aaron Don 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs. That's awesome. Joe Michael only goes 5, but it's enough in this one. Winning some high-scoring games is really great to see. So we just went through the injured list stint for Josh Smith, so we can probably send back down Estrella. Estrella ended up going 2 for 11, no homers, 1 stolen base, but he got a chance to play at the major leagues finally. 49 and 40, and now we've got the draft. Not sure how this one is going to go. It didn't seem like the CPU got like a lot of information for some reason. It probably makes more sense to look at the draft class more once we've actually seen some ratings, so we'll get there later in today's video. But I did what I could. Final game of the first half of the season, Joe Michael doing Joe Michael things against the Mets. It's a 7-0 win for the Athletics. We have Aaron Don going yard, and his numbers have improved. But one player who's really standing out right now is Miguel Cabrera with a staggering 372 average, a 457 on base. He's finally getting everyday playing time when I wasn't sure that would really happen after how things played out the last couple years. But now he's really showing that potential that we've been trying to build up over the course of this series. His durability has gotten better. Remember when it was back in like the 30s? Now it's 51. So I waited a long time to see this happen, and I think now we're seeing the investment pay off huge. Probably not enough time to totally change our rankings here, but the batting average is already getting better, and we went from 4th worst offense at 27th. In terms of runs scored, we're up to 22. So it's been a really good couple of weeks for the offense, and the gap in the West is growing. Man, this year still does not have anybody for us in the Derby. But how about Bo Bichette here? 30 home runs in the first half. He suddenly just has his career high in home runs at the All-Star break. It ties his career high. This is incredible. It also might get a letter in your locker from the league, especially at age 32. Being that I'm 31 years old, I hope to have an age 32 season myself like Bo Bichette just had, even if it takes certain substances. No surprise that Joe Michael was the American League ace again in the All-Star game this season. Wow, Penn Murphy, he was an All-Star again, but guess who else was? Closer Kendrick Haynes of the White Sox. 22 and 2 in save attempts this year. 3 homers given up, so he's actually doing a really good job. And it doesn't surprise me that he's doing well. I just wanted off the roller coaster ride like I was saying last episode. Wow, Yusniel Cruz doesn't even get an All-Star bid. We only had 2 All-Stars, I guess. Wow, Vladimir Guerrero bouncing back with an All-Star campaign with the Cubs. His average is up, his slugging is up, and his home runs are way up on a rate basis. Looks like a bit of a resurgence here for Vladdy. Ahead of free agency, not a bad time to get it going again. Oh yeah, Vinny Gomez of the Rockies. I've wanted to keep up with his career. Up to a 96 overall and 122 career home runs at age 22. Great things happening here for him. But are the Rockies actually succeeding with some of the successful picks they've made? Not so much. But they're in the wild card mix, I guess you could say. So the team is heading in the right direction, and we're going to have some trade deadline decisions coming up. The issue is going to be making anything happen with $7 million. You have to shed salary if you're to make anything noteworthy happen. You could look at trading Luis Arraez. I do think we should legitimately consider that if there's a move that can make us better. But that's probably the only thing we can do. Maybe trade Franmil Reyes, but you'll lose a significant bench bat. The second half gets underway, and now Yusniel Cruz has a multi-home run game and a 4-3 loss to the Twins. Because I drafted a lot of players who weren't all that interested in us, it's taking me extra time to get that interest up. It's now the second to last day we can actually sign our draft picks. And I just got to the point where I can offer to our first and second round players. Lawrence Faraday was our first round pick, and his ratings don't actually look all that promising, unfortunately. He just declined our offer, so I only get one more chance. We're also declined by Akira Ishii, the shortstop we took in the second. But we have to take a quick break from that because we have hit the trade deadline at 59-48, clearly in front of the AL West. Is there anything we need to do? An upgrade maybe somewhere would make sense? Shortstop's the biggest problem right now because Trey Sweeney had a bad year, and then he started to turn it around at AAA. So we could look to bring him back, see if things are the way they used to be. Or you make a trade and potentially alter the team's future. And of course, I go to the trade block and immediately see Anthony Volpe is placed on the trade block. And he's on a 1-year deal and he's having an outstanding season. But there's also Bo Bichette on the block. The Yankees really have no business trading away players right now, 10 games above 500. The Reds are right at 500 and would currently be 2.5 games out of a wild card. Bichette's gotten cold since the All-Star break. He did hit 1 home run in the last few weeks to give himself a new career high. He's got another year on his deal still. Using the trade finder, so they have interest in Max Muncy and Reggie Rankin. I guess we can absorb this because I think it's accounting for the Reds have already paid him probably 65% of his salary, so we only have to pay what's remaining, and we could handle that. I think we're going to make a big trade here. And we're going to send the Reds third baseman Marco Da Silva, who could be a major league player by the end of the year, and I think he's a really solid prospect, definitely deserving of being one of the top 50. I just happen to like Reggie Rankin a little bit more with his vision and discipline already developed, the really high contact. Da Silva's not going to be like a power hitter unless that develops suddenly at some point. His potential is higher, but Rankin, he's just better. And if we could add Bo Bichette and help this offense that has not been performing well this year, let's make a run at it here. We've made a huge trade in adding Bo Bichette at short. That's going to send Julian Rodriguez probably to AAA because he hasn't played great. We had some success having a former Blue Jay star on the roster, so we're trying to do that all over again, but now with Bo Bichette. And hopefully he gets out of this cold streak quick because we can't afford that to continue. We now have 2 players on the roster that have hit 30-plus homers this year. Yusniel Cruz is now at 30 with a huge power surge here post-All-Star break. He wasn't in the top 8 to be in the home run derby, and now you're looking at him being the second leading home run hitter in the American League, and we just traded for the guy ahead of him. Oh, I guess we have the 2 best home run hitters in the entire majors now. We know Yusniel Cruz is a second-half player. This is playing out exactly like last year did. So it's quite the development we've got this year, making the big move at shortstop to try and put us in position to repeat as champions. So I'm happy making just that move, and we wrap up the month of July on a loss. Let's see, Bo Bichette in his debut, 1 for 4 with an RBI and a walk. 2 months now until the postseason begins. We're 8.5 games up in the division. And now the batting average for us sits at 25. Runs scored is still 22nd. And home runs. We know that's going to be interesting the rest of the way, having the 2 top home run hitters this season now hitting back-to-back in the same lineup. And let's go to ERA now. We are still the top pitching team in baseball, but it's a pretty slim gap. So let's push forward. August underway with a win. Yusniel Cruz homers again. So does Don, who's definitely picked up the pace this episode. Bo Bichette hits his first homer as an A on the next day. So does Yusniel Cruz. August is off to an exceptional start. We've won 6 of 7. We're 15 games above 500. Now, let's see how I did in the draft, not putting a lot of time into it this season. Well, I screwed that up because the deadline, I think, for signing and the trade deadline was on the same day, and I got sidetracked with the trade deadline being the priority there. So I only got to sign a few players, and we did get an 87 potential shortstop, but now it's a very abbreviated draft class, and Kurt Curry probably won't make an impact in this series, maybe with a long-term sim, so I dropped the ball there completely. Maybe I can have a chance to sign those guys later, I don't know. Joe Michael helps us beat the Dodgers again as we clobber 3 home runs, including one from Miguel Vargas. Joe Michael, that's only his 10th victory of the year? Wow, he's had 21, 19, and now only 10 victories, surprisingly. And it's not really anything to do with him because he's pitching about the same as he usually does. Henry Vasquez is on a hot streak, and he is continuing to develop his skills this year. And it looks like he's going to stick in this rotation for a while. I was also looking at Gregorio Uribe, who's had 20 rock-solid innings this year, and he's developed a good bit despite not getting as much playing time as I'd like him to get. Ashby eats up a lot of innings, though. So that's just the way it goes sometimes. And the starters have been really reliable, and they've pitched pretty deep into games. Looking at our offense now, Miguel Cabrera still hitting .368. That's incredible. Dylan Carlson's maintained a .300 average. Cruz has brought up his average. And then Manny Reyes, .241, 20 homers. Could still be in line for a Rookie of the Year season. And then I'm seeing Aaron Don here, 11 home runs. And he has improved today. His spot still safe. Zach Geloff, though, he's cooled off, and maybe we're better off playing Arise and just platooning those two based on opposing pitcher. Trey Sweeney's doing well. He's going to come back when rosters expand, and we'll just see what ends up playing out there. Cam Copes had a really nice year as well. He might end up being the other player we bring up. Antonio Santiago has pitched really well. Eddie Enriquez, it could be a little better, but he's racking up a ton of strikeouts, and he's up to a 76 now. We've won this series against the Dodgers. The last 2 games were pretty close. It was a high-scoring series. We're trying to close this division out. We could pretty much eliminate the Rangers here with a good series. Aaron Don, 3 for 4 with a homer, and trying to hit for the cycle. Ooh, that is big development there. Manny Reyes, broken hand, out 1 to 2 months. So I'm going to put him on the 10-day injured list then. Hopefully it's closer to 1 than 2 months. He might be back for the postseason, but that might end his regular season now, and we're going to have to probably put a Rise at first, Geloff at second. That's the easy thing to do. The other thing we could do now is just bring up Trey Sweeney now because we might be able to shuffle the infield around to have him and Bo Bichette play. He's not going to get on track hitting lefties, but against righties, I can play him at third and put Vargas maybe at second instead. Oh, wow, we've got 2 MVP candidates on the same team now. Bo Bichette, Yusniel Cruz. For Cy Young, Joe Michael is back in the running, but behind Alek Manoah right now, despite his regression this year. Unfortunately, Miguel Cabrera is not eligible for the batting title because he's way out in front if you don't look at number of at-bats. And then Rookie of the Year, it's still looking like Manny Reyes, but Roberto Campos might have a chance now at catching him. How about this situation? Bases loaded. Down 1. It's all on Dylan Carlson here again. 2 for 3 on the day, and he pops it up in foul territory. An anticlimactic critical situation. Texas wins. Trey Sweeney didn't play in this game. Bo Bichette, 2 hits on the night. I want to find some more critical situations to watch. I just haven't found the right ones yet. Another multi-homer day for Luis Arraez. Has the power returned? Well, we've lost 4 straight. Yusniel Cruz now bottom 9. Nobody out. Cruz leads off. Let's see if we can end this losing skid. Charles Ackerman is on the mound, and it's a ground ball. Nice play at second, and Cruz retired with Guerrero catching that ball. Luis Arraez, 2 for 4 is next, and it's going to be about the same thing, but a little more routine. And now our first time getting a look at Bo Bichette as an Oakland Athletic. Really didn't see it playing out this way, but the stars align nicely. Our biggest issue happened to align with some of the best trade block options. Everybody goes and just lets Nico Horner make a play, so we got extra innings. And Andre Palante facing Brandon Marsh. Juan Guerrero got 5 RBIs in a win. I love how every team has some sort of connection to us, one way or another. David Matsumoto, I remember, seeing him earlier in the series. That is strike 3 for Palante. He went to his slider that time. That's popped up behind first. Arraez is there. And it's going to come down to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'm happy that although we've sped things up the last couple episodes, that we're still getting some pretty cool moments, seeing familiar faces. Guerrero 2 down, tying run at second. And here we go. Popped him up. Soderstrom. He's there to retire Guerrero and send us bottom 10. Excellent inning for Andre Palante. We'll try to win it against Ryan Weiss. And Soderstrom will hit. Grounded to short. A jump throw to get Soderstrom. Good start for Weiss. I like hearing the crowd cheer for Miguel Vargas. Cheering a lot louder than they did a few years ago with him. Vargas with 1 down. Patiently waiting for a pitch. Hasn't gotten anything good yet. The count's 3-1. Zach Geloff is on deck. Good pitch to hit. He fouls it at the screen. Base hit center field. Let's see if we can win it. Coming in. It is enough to keep the runner at third. Vargas gets us 90 feet closer. Can Geloff avoid the double play now and get us the win? Lifted to left. I think that's deep enough. They'll look to throw it home. Coming in from third, and this game is over. Bo Bichette slides in safely. And the Oakland Athletics win it Zach Geloff giving us some extra inning heroics the last 2 episodes. Got the hanging breaking ball there. Enough elevation to get under it. Sacrifice fly and walk on out of here with a win. Good stuff. Guerrero had homered, by the way, in his return to Oakland. I guess it makes for a good story. 10.5 games up. And I'm not exactly sure how I want to go through the postseason because I'm trying to condense things. But I'll figure it out. As long as we're there, we've got a chance. 9-8. That's a win. Manny Reyes is eligible to come back, but he is not healthy. I think he's still got 35 days left. And that is about the regular season. He might actually come back for like the final week. So that could work out for us. Dylan Carlson getting banged up, but he should be okay overall. We just lost 5 games in a row. Luis Estrella is shaken up down at AAA, and with an inflamed hip, he goes on the injured list. As we do end up losing again. Offense really doing nothing in this 7-day stretch. We then win 3 of our next 4 to finish August. We enter the final month up 8.5 games in the division. We are going to add to the active roster Doug Romero. Those numbers are electric. Yeah, let's bring up an extra reliever. We already brought up Trey Sweeney. We have a versatile guy in Josh Smith. So let's just bring up 2 pitchers this year. Really good season here for Mariano Escalona. He's only a C potential pitcher, but he's definitely doing a good job. Final month is underway. I have to send a pitcher back down because I apparently have too many. I'm sorry, Cam Cope. We'll bring up Deshaun Knowles. 12 runs to open September. That's a good start. We hit 4 homers in this game. Cruz, Bichette, Soderstrom, and Don with 21 hits. Enough run support for Joe Michael, I think. 9 games up in the division. We are close to clinching. Another massive day for Cruz, and with a single, he could hit for the cycle. Let's see if he can do it. 42 homers, 105 RBIs. He is a World Series MVP, a Rookie of the Year. He's not missing a lot. And we're going to see if he can complete the cycle. It's going to be his last chance, most likely. Fastball in there. What if he just hits a homer and misses out? Like, how do you feel about that? 0-2. Struck him out on 3 pitches. Bichette's homered in this game. He's 1 away from 40. Let's check out his next at-bat. Haven't seen much of him yet. The Yankees have. 45,000 here to watch the A's in New York. There's 1 A's fan behind home plate with all of his best friends in the Yankee gear. Count goes full on Bo Bichette, and he takes outside. That's off the wrist at second base, and they do get Bichette at the bag. Was that a laser? Zach Geloff, 12 homers, 31 RBIs. He's contributing, not playing totally like a starter, so I think that platooning him in Arraez is probably the best decision. And that is popped up into right field. So the A's appear to be done at 11 runs. I'm okay with that. Actually, they ended up getting 1 more. So 12-1. Yusniel Cruz just misses out on a cycle. 8.5 games up in the division, and we still have not clinched a playoff spot, but the magic number is probably pretty low. We're facing the Twins right now and just lost a series to them. Then we got the Blue Jays. Bo Bichette, 2 homers against Toronto. big win for us there, 8-5. He finished with those 2. It feels like he and Cruz just go yard every game. The division is ours once again. Nobody else is even above 500 or really all that close. We've won a bad division this year. We're finishing up the season. Another multi-home run day for Yusniel Cruz. Looking to see where it all ends up for us as we have our final season series. And Manny Reyes just got healthy. Deshaun Knowles will go back to AAA in that case. We have to waive him to do it. And Reyes will return to first. Looking at Trey Sweeney, he hasn't really broken out of this cold streak now. He has had only 5 home runs this season. He's hitting .202. So he's just going to have to come off the bench in that case. And he's only got 1 more year until free agency and turning 30. Bichette leads the MVP voting ahead of his teammate Yusniel Cruz. Their numbers are very similar. Wow, Gunnar Hoagland's way out in front now. No way. Gunnar Hoagland getting Cy Young Award honors this season? This literally just came out of nowhere. He's got 17 wins, 3.5 WAR, like randomly, literally out of nowhere. That's incredible. Manny Reyes still in first place for Rookie of the Year, and hopefully he can not lose it over the last week of the season. A little losing skid here I'd like to see us end. Thank you, Joe Michael, for that. And the final game of the regular season. Bo Bichette leads off with the A's down 1. Camilo Duvall, really good closer for the Angels. Not sure if this game could impact seeding, but let's pretend it does. I can't see us being the 1 seed this year. We just haven't been that dominant. Bichette waves and comes up empty. 3-2 to Bichette leading off. Struck him out. Great slider. Next, we've got Miguel Vargas. Lifted to center. Routine play. Out number 2. That means it's up to Soderstrom here on the final day of the regular season. Hammered into the dugout, and he's already down 0-2. Duvall's really tough. A strike away. Foul. And he struck him out to finish the game. Athletics lose the finale. And we're going to end the season with under 90 wins this time around. 87-75 is our record. We'll face the Yankees in the division series. Sounds pretty... Oh, they said division series. It's actually the wild card series. So we were the 3 seed. We faced the Yankees last year in the postseason. And there's a chance that we could face Baltimore again in the ALCS. I'm going to have to get creative with how I do the postseason now in this format, trying to go more sped up. I will figure it out. I'll find what feels right for next video, but we are back in the postseason again. It's a win reduction of 8 for us from last year's regular season. And we ended with a batting average ranked 23rd. Runs scored at 22. We could not get above that point. Home runs, I know, is going to be good because of 2 guys. We're 6th there. Our on base was pretty good. League average, at least. And our team ERA, first place again. Let's check on stats. Bo Bichette, 47 homers. 16 of those came as a member of the Oakland Athletics. Aaron Don bounces back with 17 homers and gets his average up to 263. He was in a really bad spot at the beginning of this episode, but he finishes at a good point. But what I want to see now is, will he have another bad postseason? That would make it 3 in a row, which would impact potentially his chances at getting a long-term deal from us. Miguel Cabrera finished with a .326 average and just under a .400 on base. With .489 slugging, that's top 3 on the team behind the MVP candidates. Miguel Cabrera is definitely a star for the future. Zach Geloff, though, he's kind of gone back and forth between looking like a future player and looking like somebody we have to replace. Now that he's 30 years old, probably not getting a lot better than this point and about to be a free agent, a big decision's going to have to be made there, but I'm not willing to give him a really long-term, big money contract. Manny Reyes, 21 homers, .248 average. Really good rookie season and probably is Rookie of the Year. Dylan Carlson, .277, 17 homers, and by regular season standards, this is really good for him. It's his best regular season with us in 4 years. His WAR was 5.5. They love his value. A lot of that probably comes from his defense. Soderstrom, man, he must have really stunk against lefties this year. He lost 10 contacts, 7 power, and definitely took a big step back this season, but was still good. He just lost a lot of his slugging. I wonder what they give Aaron Don for WAR. He does have great defense. He's 4.3. Whenever he becomes a free agent, he's going to get paid. He has good ratings. He is going to be the kind of player that commands, I think, $20-30 million a year potentially. Luis Arraez was better in this episode compared to the previous, but it's clear where his game is, and now he's due $12 million next season. Not sure that fits for us. Miguel Vargas, first year of this 3-year extension, and he did not slug nearly as well, but was still solid. Franmil Reyes, unfortunately, I think his time in the A's franchise could be coming to an end. Ultimately, the offense struggled too much to let him stick in the lineup and figure it out. Joe Michael, 14 wins, 229 strikeouts. That is not quite a career high, but close. He had a 9.3 K per 9 this season. Pretty similar numbers to what we're used to seeing. He was wildly inconsistent at the beginning of his career. He could have Cy Young caliber starts and AAA caliber starts the next time around, but he's more or less been the same guy now since his rookie season. At the age of 23, he has 74 victories. He has over 1,000 strikeouts and 2 Cy Young awards. Ken Waldichuk continues to show that he's one of the best pitchers we've had throughout this franchise. When the series began, I did not see him sticking around this entire time. I mean, at this point, how many players from the original day one 26-man roster are even left? It's always fun to think about that in my series because we go deep into the future, and it's fun to see, who is the last man standing from the original team. Max Muncy was a prospect, so I don't count him. From the day one active roster, he is the only guy still here. A couple guys were in the organization, but the vast majority now of the 26-man was acquired in the franchise, one way or another. Max Muncy, Ken Waldichuk, Zach Geloff, I think are the only players who were actually in our organization when we started the series. Bo Bichette is American League MVP, just beating out teammate Yusniel Cruz, who will probably have his chances again in the future. The Cy Young does go to Gunnar Hoagland, who tops Joe Michael and ends his 2-year streak. I really can't believe he's the one to do it. Juan Soto gets the batting title. Joel Payamps gets the Reliever of the Year award, and Manny Reyes is your American League Rookie of the Year. Dylan Carlson almost got a Gold Glove, but Taylor Trammell beat him out. Bo Bichette, Silver Slugger at DH, and not short. I'm not sure where he was playing with the Reds. They could have been playing Ellie De La Cruz at short. Yusniel Cruz does get the Silver Slugger Award, however. So I think when we do the postseason, it's going to be a bit of a hybrid experience. And if we have an early exit, I'm jumping right into the offseason. So I'm hoping video length isn't a giveaway over what exactly happens. So I'll figure it out. I have some ideas, and we'll see how we defend this title through another postseason. I'm not guaranteeing the entire postseason will be in one video. If it ends up being like a lot of great long series and we get to the World Series and maybe end up doing one video for that, I'm open to a lot of things depending on how it plays out. That is going to bring an end to today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed this last chapter of the A's franchise. We're not done quite yet. And hopefully we can look at securing another World Series title. But that is it for today, everybody. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again with more A's franchise shortly. Have a great day.